Once, there was a man named David, whose life was marked by trials and sorrow. He had fought for years to keep his head above water, to hold on to the good that once filled his heart. But after a series of crushing losses, the death of his child, the disintegration of his marriage, the coldness of a world that no longer cared, David found himself slipping. His inner flame, once bright, had dwindled to a fragile ember. That's when Stephen came. He appeared not as a demon, not as a monster, but as David himself, only sharper, darker, with eyes that held the weight of all his pain. At first, Stephen was a voice of reason in David's mind. He whispered what David had long tried to deny. "It's not your fault. You've done all you can. It's the world that's broken, not you." David believed him because Stephen's words felt like relief. The voice in his head wasn't cruel. It was comforting, telling him what he wanted to hear. Day by day, David surrendered a little more. He started neglecting the things that once mattered: his job, his friends, his passion. Stephen was always there, validating each decision, making David feel righteous in his isolation. But soon, the voice began to change. "Why do you keep trying to be something you're not? Just give in, David. This world doesn't deserve your kindness. You've suffered enough. It's time to take what's yours, no matter who gets hurt." The transition was subtle. What began as soothing whispers turned to darker thoughts, thoughts that made David feel invincible and indifferent. He began to hurt the people who cared about him, turning his back on them, lashing out with a cruelty he once thought he was incapable of. And still Stephen was there, smiling inside him. "Now you see the truth. You've been weak your whole life. But this is the real you. This is the power you've always had." David no longer fought the voice. Stephen had become more than a whisper. He had become a second self, a dark reflection, a twisted twin that now controlled every action, every decision. The light in David had long since gone out. What Stephen never told him, what he never told anyone, was that once he takes control, there is no going back. Those who give in, who let their light die, become prisoners in their own minds. They are no longer the ones living their lives, but mere spectators as Stephen assumes the wheel, steering their actions down a path of cruelty, greed and destruction. Stephen wasn't alone. He was in all of us. Whenever someone's hope flickers, whenever their conscience wavers, Stephen is there, waiting, watching. He is the second self that exists in every human being, a shadow lurking behind every smile, every good intention. The moment the light dims, he steps forward, assuming control without the person even realizing it. For Stephen is not merely one man. He is the embodiment of that dark potential within us all, the twin of the Antichrist, but not an external force. He is inside each and every one of us, waiting for the moment when our flame goes out, and when it does, he is more than happy to take over. I hope you like this psychological horror thriller. Please like and subscribe so we can continue to grow this channel and continue this dark tale.